TheDraftSociety.com presents a Premier League Draft Fantasy Podcast. Welcome to the Key Pass Collective. Your exclusive source for the information, analysis, and advice you need to dominate your fantasy leagues. Come on in. We've been expecting you.
Draft heads, what's going on? Oh, I'm back, and it feels nice. Want to welcome everybody back into the Key Pass Collective. I want to thank my brethren, from whom you'll be hearing from quite shortly, for covering for me. Last week, things have been quite hectic. I had jury duty this week, which is an ongoing thing and is terrible. I have one more month of that, but it feels real good to be back. So anyway, I'm Joe Williams. For anyone who's listening to this for the first time, welcome into the KPC. We, of course, are the audio companion to the Draft Society website. If you are unfamiliar with the Draft Society, well, let's familiarize you now. The Draft Society is, of course, your one-stop shop for all your draft needs, your draft fantasy football needs. So if you want to dominate your leagues, this is where you go, is thedraftsociety.com. It is, of course, the home as well of the Fantasy Toolkit. Fantasy Toolkit being kind of our flagship tool created by DraftLab that is insane. Really, really cool, and also very, very good, and will help you dominate your leagues. It's going to be bespoke to your particular league using your Fantrax ID, give you players to pick up. It'll help you with your waiver pickups. It will gauge your team's rest of season value. It'll help you evaluate trades. Literally all tailored to your specific team. So check it out. That is, of course, one of the benefits of being in the inner circle, which is our subscriber only section. There's a whole lot else there. Robbie's rest of season player rankings that are updated weekly. We've got projections for players every single week, consensus rankings that are sortable that come out every international break, extra articles weekly, including Ryan's Ghost Point Hunter article, and so much more. There's also free stuff on there too. So go over and check out the free stuff. We've got waiver wire pickup articles weekly. There's just so much, tons of stats that you can look through that are all completely free that we keep and help you dominate your league. So check it out. Even if you don't have the dough to part with right now, check out the Draft Society. But if you do have a couple extra shekels to float our way, we are an independent fantasy football website, and we would greatly appreciate it. And we greatly appreciate everybody who already is a member. All right, let's talk about today on the Key Pass Collective. So basically, we're going to keep it, I don't know, I'm not even going to say it. We're sort of keeping it. Well, nope, not going to do it. I'm not going to go there. Today on the Key Pass Collective, we have Gameweek 6 streamers and stashes, and then Twitter questions. And any questions live. Speaking of, what's up, everybody in chat? Peltier, how are you? Draft Espresso, what's going on, man? Omar, how are you? Adam Gibbs, how's it going? And a bunch of other people who are watching but haven't said anything yet. What's up, everybody? Get at us in chat. We'll answer your questions live if we can, or flash your message up on the screen so you can get up on the conversation with us. So we're gonna kind of keep it straight and to the point today. So we've got streamers, we've got Twitter questions. We do have one thing I want to talk about first with a gentleman, but let's go ahead and bring them in. So we have Sanji from Banta Boys. We have Totti, just back from Italy. And we have Ryan, just back from globetrotting to like so many places. So how are... Sanji, you haven't traveled recently, have you, Sanji?
There's commuting to work back and forth.
Okay, so it's you and me, and then the other two bastards on here are jet setting fools. So how are you guys back from your travels?
Oh, good. I haven't been stabbed, mugged, or burgled, which is always good. Caught some sunshine and some nice Italian food. I mean,
What else do you want? Fresh.
I am fresh.
Sanji was saying, man's got a tan right now. It looks great.
Seriously.
I mean, I've gone to bed at like 10 every day of the week. It shows.
Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. What's your excuse, Ryan? You were in Spain. You're not glistening and bronzed.
This is about as tan as I can be or ever will be. I'm just happy I didn't, get sunburnt and peel. But yeah, this is my tan glow.
That's fair. You're also unburgled.
Yes, I was.
Nice.
I mean, yeah, my bank account would say otherwise, but yeah.
Oh, mine too. It was just a willful self-burglary.
Yeah, you were complicit in that burglary.
Yeah. It's a victimless crime.
That's fair. Sanji, you recorded last night for Banta Boys, or was it Tuesday?
Would have been Tuesday.
Okay. Yeah, so you and I were talking off air, just endless content creation for you and working. So if anyone's not listened to Banta Boys, check it out. How'd it go this week?
Went well. I might have not been sober for that episode. But during the international break, we managed to do 2 Inside Track special series as well. 5 reps each on both episodes. We're hoping next international break we can get the other 10 as well. Looking at you, Ryan. But I think it went great. Got a bit of information update. A couple of new faces as well, because our regular reps were traveling or baby duty, that sort of stuff. So we had new faces like Chuck Booth, like repping Spurs and stuff like that. So it was a lot of fun to get new I guess community members on our pod, just giving them a voice and stuff like that. And I mean, that's what we've always been about, right? Trying to just engage with as many people as possible. So yeah, it was good fun. Looking forward to the next one.
That's cool. Love me some Chuck Booth. He used to be a regular on our Sunday show that we did for a while.
Lining up
with Chuck. I wish I still had the drop that I could play, but that
was a good
don't.
drop. I wonder what high school band you bit that from.
Yeah. It I definitely just jacked it from somewhere online, but it featured like a tap style drum solo, and then it was lining up with Chuck.
It was good.
I mean,
not as good as my drop line, but
no, yours is obviously, and Totti's also pretty epic.
Yeah, we did a whole drop reset with Andres providing some drops. After that,
we'll have to bring those back someday. Or at least give the listeners a taste. But
yeah, seriously.
Yeah, that's for another day. All right, I have a question for you guys before we kick it off. Notice on the bottom of the slide it says "but first." So my question for you is: are you making any plans? Meaning, are you buying into any of the kind of narratives that are floating about? And I've got 3 on the screen now. Double game week, obviously upcoming next week. European competitions, meaning potential rotation for some of our favorite players, and also injured players reemerging, some who've been out, since the beginning of the season, just getting healthy. So, are you making any plans? Are you do you have any schemes and machinations for the upcoming couple of weeks that you might want to share with listeners that they could get in on now and start stashing players?
I know Genie has like 7 Luton players on one of his teams.
Would not recommend, but well, let's start there. Double game week. I mean, are you guys buying in? Are you shying away? Are you somewhere in between?
I'm dipping my toe in the double game week waters. My toe being Issa Kabore mostly.
Okay.
Yeah, I wrote about him extensively in GPH this week. But yeah, TLDR's 15.5 ghosts this past game week was highly touted in the post-match presser by the manager. Should be keeping his right wing back spot. Schedule doesn't get any better than it does for Luton right now. Wolves at home, and then a double against Burnley and Everton. And you should have been able to get him for cheap. I got him for free in one league, and then in the other two, I got him for $1. So it doesn't get any better than that. So yeah, I've got him in all 3 of my leagues. I'm probably going to go, I have Giles in one league, so I'll probably go Giles or Doughty in the other. Burnley, I think I'm probably staying away, other than potentially Brownhill. He looked okay over the weekend, or on Monday rather, but wasn't that great. We'll see if he starts this weekend. I have him in 2 of my leagues, so that'll probably be a game time decision, but I'm not actively going out and getting, I think, any other Burnley players. The only other Luton player I'd probably think about, Jacob Brown, if he keeps his spot, of course, and then Marvelous Nakamba. You roll out the CDMs as we remember from the DGWs of yesteryear. He got 8.5 last week, so he's somebody that I would potentially want to roll out. But this is probably one of the worst 2 teams I think we've ever had for double game week finale. So yeah, that's my plan for the DGW at least.
I haven't found my season-long keeper yet, so I'm streaming goalkeepers in all my leagues, and I've picked up either Kaminski or Trafford in all my leagues. Otherwise, if I can get any one of the defenders from either team after this game week, then I'll probably need to sort of dip my toe in. But yeah, I think I have a feeling that Wolves are gonna not be Wolvesy against Luton and do the business. So I'm not other than Kabore, like Ryan said, I'm not very optimistic about any of the sort of lesser scoring Luton defenders. And obviously, even though we have troubles around Old Trafford, I think they will probably eke it out against Burnley. So yeah, I'm not hugely excited to hold any of the defenders or defensive midfielders for an extra game week, as I think the chips still haven't all been down on the table regarding assets that you're still holding from either draft day or early season pickups. So I can't imagine that many of our regular listeners and followers of our advice have a lot of free spots to play with.
That's fair. Sanji, your boy won Lyle after being ushered off the pitch. You were kind of our resident Burnley fan, just thanks to Lyle Foster. But anyone aside from that you're excited about?
No, I'm standing in solidarity with Lyle. I'm going to avoid the double game week. I mean, that being said, if I'm... Oh, pardon?
Is he suspended for one game or more?
Just the one game, yeah. So he's going to miss the game at home to Manchester United. Then he can't...
So he's back for the double.
Yeah. Well,
Wasn't
one
it
of
a straight red?
the games. Yeah, but the thing is, he's missing Man United at home, then the Carabao Cup versus Salford, and then the trip to St. James's Park. So he should be available for the game versus Luton. So I'd be a little tempted to grab him and stick him in.
He got more points than Jimenez, to be fair.
Oh, wow, shots fired.
Your other
guys,
boy.
Have a good night.
Yeah, we need to have an intervention here. Next, you're going to tell listeners to pick up Hwang.
I mean, he's scored more goals than Kai Havertz, so
that's true, and probably more points generally.
Doubtful.
They go pretty similarly, to be fair.
That is quite true.
Yeah. No, I didn't really have an opportunity to grab anyone, and to be honest, I'm not really chasing the double as much. I mean, I agree there will be one or two assets that will absolutely smash it, like I agree with Ryan. Kabore was one of them that I think I have him in like my dynasty league, but in terms of like the public leagues like DPL, IGL, now I'm just rolling single game weekers. Sometimes chasing double game week assets aren't worth it. Yeah, but to each their own. So
let's talk about European competitions. Any thoughts from the games this week? I know we had several that happened today. Just a couple things to note from those as I was kind of looking through some of the scores and the lineups. JWP went 90. Darwin and Luis Diaz went 90. Let's see. Gravenberch was subbed off, apparently injured.
I think that's just a cramp. Klopp
Was
came.
it? Okay.
Yeah.
All I saw was the red plus sign.
No, yeah, it was a cramp, and Klopp said after the game that he hasn't actually played competitive football for a long time. So I'm still not expecting him to feature as a starter this weekend. So as injuries go, you might as well be injured.
And I take that to mean they were considering tonight's game a competitive fixture, or
They were
just reading into that?
I think they were.
Okay, got it. I'm just kidding. Shots fired again. Sorry. And then, of course, for Villa, let's see. Villa, was there anything notable from their lineup? Bailey went 90 for the first time in his career. Tilemon, and maybe notably Digne went 90 as well.
And
in this
scored.
match.
And scored a goal.
And scored a goal.
Ramsey got, I think, 23 minutes or so.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
Duran
Ramsey
scored
came
as
in.
well.
Duran is the freaking man.
I love it. Let's make that into a drop.
Dude.
The issue is that he doesn't seem to know how to spell his own first name.
Yeah, common misconception.
I mean,
It's the JH, right?
Yeah.
it's the JH, yeah.
John.
Could just be dyslexic. Hard to say.
The doctor was dyslexic.
Did Bernardo
Parents.
Silva get injured in the Champions League? Okay.
He did, yeah.
I know like the Man City's opposition wasn't like the strongest, but Mateus Nunes balled out as well. Statistically speaking, he racked up 6 key passes, an accurate cross, a shot on target, aerials. I feel like he's one person that people should be maybe targeting a little bit.
Yeah, we had a conversation about Nunez in one of our chats. I was pretty low on him, but I think Genie was highest, and then Ryan was somewhere in the middle regarding Nunez. So yeah, it's definitely worth considering as a pickup, as injuries are piling up there too. So
If he's been dropped, sure. Like I'm not gonna go and trade for him. I'm not gonna try to, overpay now that somebody's seen him midweek.
Yeah, short-term play.
yeah, I don't think I always feel funny when people start getting excited about City lineup, midweek City lineup, thinking that has any relevance for the weekend lineup. For other teams maybe, but City is just I don't think it's relevant at all.
Yeah. And we've seen Pep play, players who have gone a full 90 in the midweek and do so without subbing them. So I mean,
And we've seen him play a game with like 2 subs when he had 5 to go. So yeah, I'm not trying to read anything into the lineups. We've seen Rico Lewis, we've seen Stones, we've seen other players in that defensive, other less excited players in that defensive midfielder also. So even if that's maybe not a defensive midfielder rather than a central midfielder, but
Holland, Alvarez, and Nunez all went 90. then I don't think there's any reason why they couldn't do the same on the weekend.
I had a question for Ryan regarding Arsenal. Kai went 90 minutes. Is there a chance that Vieira is getting the PL games? Would you gamble on that?
Vieira actually came on in that game.
With Kai staying on?
More on the right. Yeah, they were both. Kai stayed on because he went the full 90. So I don't think there's going to be that like clean dichotomy, but yeah, that timeshare is certainly there, and yeah, I'm so glad that I covered Kai with Vieira in all my leagues. I'm expecting Vieira this weekend, but again, it could be Kai. But yeah, that's just to say that you should have them both. If you're relying on either, you should have them both.
Is that a cuff you want to have spend 2 spots on though? Like, I know Vieira can go off, and I know that in an ideal world, Kai can be productive as that hybrid 8-10 player. But is that like what is the upside of that cuff? Like, it's for me, it's something. It's a cuff that I probably want to trade out as a 2 for a usable 1. But yeah, interested to hear your thoughts, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's higher upside. I mean, you at this point, obviously, you prefer that that Vieira starts, but you obviously want to have Kai just in case. Depends on what it could get for the cuff. I mean, I'm not opposed to trading it out if I get something good, but I think it's worth having for sure, given that you got Vieira for free and attacking spot on one of the best teams in the league. If that cost me 2 spots, and I know that I'm going to at least get 1, I think there might be some games where they both start. Then yeah, I'm not too worried about having both.
Would you trade out the cuff for Declan Rice?
No.
No. Well, I would.
This is probably a very easy question, but would you rather that Kai Vieira handcuff or an injured Martinelli and Trossard handcuff?
I mean, Martinelli, Trossard, just because there's a lot more upside there. But
is there any update on that injury, by the way?
Nothing confirmed. I think it's a grade 1 hammy, which is between 1 and 4 weeks. But in the past he's been like Wolverine, so I'm not completely discounting him going back for the North London Derby, but I think it'll be probably another week or 2.
Yeah, but from everything I've heard, it's not as bad as feared.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And the way Trossard's playing, there's no reason really to rush him back.
Yeah.
He was my midweek.
I think this is a good case study on talking about fab and talking about handcuffs and talking about the types of handcuffs that we have in this game. So I think Trossard went for 15 plus in both of my main leagues.
He was on your wire?
He was on the wire.
Wasn't on any of mine.
No, everybody kept him in mind.
Yeah.
But I think you predicted, Ryan, well, that last season, even though he had that amazing purple patch, the moment Martinelli came back and the moment Jesus came back, he was relegated to the bench, and I think ended up starting 1 more game rest of the season. So he was essentially droppable at that point. And I expect that to be the case this time around too. Like, I think he deserved to be on the wire. The question is, and the question I wanted to pose to you guys is in a situation like this, so this isn't a handcuff per se, because it's not a timeshare. It's more of a
backup
insurance policy.
Right.
Rather than a handcuff. Would you would you be okay paying like close to 20% of your fab for someone who is at best going to play the upcoming 3 games and then go back to droppable until there's another injury?
I've spent it on a lot worse. So I've
That's
dropped
fair.
20
That's
on
fair.
a lot worse than a really good insurance policy. That's a good question, and 20 is the right kind of level to get you thinking about whether or not it's worth it or not. I think I would, just given the upside. I wouldn't do it for the other cuff that we talked about or many other cuffs, but yeah, that left side of the Arsenal attack is pretty valuable, and Trossard's shown that he can come in and score a lot of points. So I think I probably would. I have Martinelli in one league, and I was put off by the price of Trossard. So I didn't do it, but yeah, if the price was 20 fab, I think I would do that.
Yeah, but essentially so I hear a lot of questions on our Discord and on DMs as well, is would you go for Trossard? Like, and this is just a case study, obviously, because this happens with other players too. Would you go for Trossard if you have Martinelli? And to me, it's always why is that an additional information? Like, you're not going to keep Trossard on once Martinelli is back. So the fact that you have Martinelli is just an additional fact that you're holding an injured player. It's as valuable to the conversation of picking up Trossard, to me at least, as would you pick up Trossard if you have Olise? Would you pick up Trossard if you have Tony? Because essentially,
that's a good point.
Essentially, it's not a timeshare cuff. It's not like what we expected the low Wan-Bissaka cuff to be. It's not like the olden days of the Spurs cuffs.
Mm-hmm.
It's essentially an insurance policy. It's essentially a short-term, high upside pickup, which you could go for regardless of whether you have Arsenal players or not. So for me, that's like the only point where having Martinelli or having another Arsenal player there helps is the exact game when you are expecting the other player, the injured player, to come back. So it's for the next 2-3 weeks, it's Trossard. And then there's one game where you have the cuff in a starting lineup situation where you know that either one of them will start because you've seen the pictures of Martinelli back in training. Arteta said that Gabi is back and he's great and he's moved with the team, whatever, and then he doesn't start at the weekend. Then
or if it's Jesus, he doesn't start for 3 more weeks.
That's some like we've. And that's a good point. Like Eddie and Jesus was the same situation, and we all advocated for dropping Eddie.
Mm-hmm.
Once we saw Jesus back in training, it was the attachment to Eddie was gone, and he ended up starting 3 more games.
Sorry, I got a siren. I got to wait out here.
Perfect timing, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I feel you, Todd. I think that's a solid point. I just think that the idea is that, like, yes, there are high upside streams, but like this particular spot on the pitch and knowing that you have that spot nailed down is pretty damn lucrative.
Yeah, but you have that spot nailed down with Martinelli anyway.
Yeah, I know. I just mean in the interim. So would you pay 20 fab for, 4 game weeks of likely 10 plus, let's say maybe even 15 plus points every week?
That's a different question, but yeah, that's another question I posed. Yeah, I think 20 fab is a bit rich for me, and I didn't bid. I bid like 8 or something, and I didn't get him in either of my leagues. But yeah, I can see if you're not vying for for a January pickup or fab domination or something like that, and you have like 40 something fab, then it's okay.
How much did he go for?
17, I think, or 19 or something like that.
I guess the difference with Trossard and Nketiah for me is one, Trossard scores a lot better, and two, I think he has a lot more outs. He obviously slots in perfectly for Martinelli on the left, but he could also come in as the false nine striker. He can also come in on the right wing if, God forbid, anything ever happened to Saka. I don't think he's missed a game in 600 years. But God forbid if that ever happened, he could also come in. So gives him a little bit more flexibility. And yeah, like Joe said, you're gonna have a guarantee, and you won't have to worry when Martinelli is going to be back because you'll have that insurance policy. But it's a fair point, and I would probably subscribe to it a bit more if it was a different type of, I think, less upside and a different profile of cuff. But yeah, it's a fair point.
It's something worth mulling over, I think, certainly. Which is why, like, the moment that Martinelli got injured, I had Trossard offers immediately. And I respect those managers for, like, immediately coming at me with, hey, here's this. And it's me giving up, a guy who probably has better rest of season projected value. But it's like short-term versus long-term, what do you value more? You're going to have the drop-off from your Martinelli spot. And I didn't draft Trossard. He was never dropped. So that person has been sitting on him, presumably has a midfield that they can start. And so they don't need him. So it's pure profit for them to send out that trade offer to the Martinelli manager, which I thought was really smart. Yeah. Anyway. All right. Shall we move on? Okay. We're going to go streamers, and then we're going to go to Twitter questions because we have quite a few, and they're good. There's some really good ones to think up. There's some players that they want us to rank rest of season. There's a lot of discussion of Pep Roulette, which people are getting quite frustrated. So we'll talk about all that. But yeah, let's go with streamers first. Ryan, I believe you are first this week with your Game Week 6 streamers. Who you got?
Oh, I didn't know that there was a deck. Yeah, these are
Game Week 4.
You didn't change your.
It might be Game Week 2. I remember. I didn't see a deck. I'm sorry.
Oh, amazing. Okay.
I don't know what's worse, the fact that I didn't do it or the fact that you didn't notice. I think it's probably the latter.
You're right. Because I was like, oh yeah, Zuma versus Luton? Absolutely. That sounds great. But they play Liverpool, don't they? Doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, how does that work?
Yeah. Wait.
You just choose a player and choose who you want to play them against.
Is this my fuck up, Totti? Did I not share this with you guys?
You did share it.
Okay.
Ryan didn't write in anything, but you then
platform?
uploaded. It was on Slack. Yeah.
We're playing on fan tracks.
Okay, now I see it. All right, sorry.
It's all
6
good.
a.m. Give me a break. Come on.
Well, I had to do it before jury duty.
That's the inside workings of the draft society.
Moving right along.
Yeah. No, I have some off the top of my head.
No, you can peanut gallery and or like rank / berate us for our choices.
All right, fine.
Benji said just double down on the ones on the screen.
Zuma
for you.
versus Liverpool, Bogle versus Newcastle. Let's do it. Sarabia somehow.
Actually, Bogle versus Newcastle. I don't hate.
Yeah,
I don't love
Sarabia versus Luton, right?
Yeah,
but he won't start.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, moving on. Totti, go ahead.
So the fullback injury at Brentford is going to throw up some interesting lineups in the near future until they find their perfect solution. And if we have an aerially dominant centre back starting against Everton, who's on the wire and it's not Ben Mee or Nathan Collins, then I'd pick up Zanka. Obviously, this is a punt, and this is like a starting lineup comes out type of punt. Craig Dawson versus Luton. Even if they don't keep a clean sheet, I expect Dawson to be close to double digit, and he loves a goal from a set piece, so I'd be okay starting him. Elliot Anderson has been knocking on the door for Newcastle for a while, and he looks like a very good player against Sheffield United. And Fabio Silva, I have no idea why Sasha Kalajdzic isn't starting for Wolves, and I'm miffed. But if he continues to not start, then Fabio Silva is a decent punt against Luton.
Yeah, go ahead, Ryan.
I was just gonna say I don't think either of them start versus Luton. I think he seems pretty set on the current kind of Cunha, Neto, Hwang. Hwang ended up scoring that goal against Liverpool.
He always does.
With Bellegarde in the hole. Yeah, he certainly does. So I wouldn't be surprised to see both of them bench, but
I just want to will Hwang benching and exile into existence by suggesting that either Silva or Kalajdzic.
That would be great. Yeah, that would be fantastic. Cool. All right. Sanji, you ready to roll?
Yeah, I think so. Hopefully I don't get berated too much by Ryan for these picks. But we'll start with Roslav.
Boo. No, just kidding. Sorry.
R.I.P. Rico Henry. We've lost a gem this season, I feel. Not only that, but he was doing so well for Brentford, man, creating so many big chances for Mbuemo to miss all of them, or well, most of them. But Roslav came on as a sub for him, I believe. He got around 47 minutes, put up around 8 to 9 ghost points, I think, because they did concede a goal, I believe. So the thing is, I'm not sure if he's going to be nailed, because I feel like it is going to be opponent / formation dependent, because we know Thomas Frank likes to switch things up every now and then, depending on whether or not they play the big boys or the small boys, I guess. Small boy sounds redundant, but anyways. But I do like him as an option. They've got decent fixtures as well coming up. Who do they have? Everton at home and Forest away. Manchester United away, which is definitely an easy fixture, and then Burnley at home. So it's good games. And the Brentford defense is solid except for Fleck, and he just looks a bit nervy at the back, man. But then my next pick is Mike Tresser. I'm sure I butchered that name, but I believe he's on loan from Genk. Yeah, with Lyle Foster missing for the next couple of games, somebody has to step in and score all the goals, right? That Lyle's been scoring, Ryan.
Yeah.
But it's just also like the fact that the double game week is coming. Maybe there's an opportunity for him to maybe not get 90 minutes in both games. Let's call it like 120 minutes or something like that, at least. I'm sure I didn't divide that correctly.
No, that works.
But yeah, I think he'll get enough minutes maybe across the two games in that double game week. Next up, we got Tariq Lamptey. So we shouted him on like a few episodes ago on BB Pod, but he absolutely balled out versus Manchester United. Got 2 assists, put up 16 points. He came on as a sub for Milner tonight, I believe, around the 55th minute. I don't know if that's injury related or not, but I feel like there's a chance with the fact that Brighton are pretty much putting like all of their main players in Europe, or like playing the European fixtures. Tariq might get more playing time in the EPL. He came on as a sub for the game that we went to, right? And he looked fairly bright even when he came on. I mean, it didn't reflect his points versus Newcastle, but I mean, I think on his day he can terrorize any defense. Like he's great going forward. And then finally we've got Issa Kabore. Ryan, you talked about him quite well in your Ghost Point Hunter article. Guys, if you haven't had a chance to read that, please go check it out. It's a wonderful, wonderful article to read. I don't think I could really add much more other than I think he's able to contribute at both ends of the pitch, I think, for that double game week. So, yeah, those are my picks.
I love it. Anything from the peanut gallery?
I like him. I would only say about Lamptey that 16 points from 2 assists is actually really bad, ghost point wise. So like I would just be worried about that because and Brighton never really keep a clean sheet. They conceded 3 to AEK Athens tonight. So yeah, if he doesn't get those returns, then he might be in trouble. But yeah, otherwise, all good.
Didn't that also have to do with Estupiñán's travel time?
Yeah, but he played on the left side as well. So yeah, it would have been for Estupiñán. Yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah,
he also had a yellow card and conceded a goal. So add 4 points to the 16, maybe. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, okay.
I'm throwing the peanuts back, basically.
No, it's fair. I mean, these are streamers after all. Like, wait till you see mine.
Wait till you see mine.
I didn't pick any of Ryan's ones because I thought that those were already taken. So yeah.
Zuma's still readily available.
Okay, I might call upon him. Unlikely, but you guys can tell me if I need to. With the other Anderson, Totti, the other Anderson, and this of course is Mads. This is for anyone who wants a piece of that Luton double game week and might be in a league that is already on it in terms of the Cabores of the world. He does okay. I'm not going to tell you that you're going to be super excited with his output, but he's a viable play this week. You're hoping for like 8, and then next week you might get
your boy Lockyer.
Lockyer has been brutal. Trust me. I've been keeping an eye on him. He's been pretty brutal this year. Yeah, no ghost points. Really, just not doing it. So yeah, not ideal. And then of course, Giles and Doughty are both classed as midfielders, so that doesn't help us at all. Because they're probably, I mean, Giles should already be taken. If he's not, grab him. And then Doughty is going to be lucky to get one of the 2 matches. So Anderson, if you want a streamer this week, and then somebody who's pretty nailed to get the both games next week. So there's that. I always have to include Jeff versus Fulham. For anybody who was not aware, there was just recent news that Olise's injury is going to be, or recovery is going to be longer than expected. And so, Jeff is always a good shout for some decent ghost points in there. So bring him in. Branthwaite versus Brentford. He could be decent. I'm not hoping for a clean sheet ever with Everton this season, but he's been ghosting fairly well. And if they can keep the overall, number of goals to a minimum, he could be fine, I guess. I don't love it, but it's
fine.
Yeah. I was the last one to get into the document. Okay. And I didn't know Ryan hadn't. Anyway, finally, if he starts, Veltman versus Bournemouth could be a decent shout as well. I like Lamptey better, just because he has that attacking upside, like you were saying, Sanji. But I mean, yeah, you could do worse than Veltman, especially versus a Bournemouth side that doesn't really even know who its best 11 is. So, yeah. Any thoughts on these ones, guys?
My question is regarding Branthwaite. When or the Everton defense, we have talked and seen a lot of outlets, including Tifo and us and others, to talk about the underperformance and the good or decent underlying numbers of Everton all around the pitch, both in attack and defense. My specific question is, Branthwaite seems to have somewhat of a Michael Keane type effect
Right.
on Tarkowski, siphoning his ghost points. When is it, or what do you need to see to put the final nail in Tarkowski's coffin and finally drop him?
Oh, that's a sad state of
I've
affairs.
seen enough.
You'd drop him.
I would.
I wouldn't drop him because you could always get something for him. But
exactly.
if it was anybody else, I would. I think he's droppable just based on points.
I'm gonna do Trossard plus Tarkowski and see what I can get back, or something along those lines, right?
I mean, obviously, when you're saying he's droppable, then anything of value that you would be able to get back is good value. But like, how much fab would you accept? 5?
Double digits.
Double digits? Yeah.
You just brought in Trossard for 20.
Just because I think you could get it.
I traded out Beto for 25.
That's good. That's a good deal on your part.
Something around there.
Yeah, I mean, I'd take less, but yeah.
I mean, I think you're right about what you said about Branthwaite. Averaging 9.8 ghost points per start. I mean, it's only the goals against that's. I mean, when I say only, it's Everton, so there's going to be a lot of goals against. But at the same time, that's a good ghost point number. So yeah, I mean, at this point, he's looking at a floor of around 5.5 according to our useful draft metrics. And so if that's your floor, and you got a ghost point average of or per start of 9.8, I mean, yeah, that seems to be a lot of the stats that we're used to seeing from Tarkowski.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Evan, you guys know Evan, the troublemaker in chat, wondering if anybody wrote an article preseason that involved Branthwaite.
I mean, I wrote the Everton article, and he was in the players to watch section. Is that what this Evan fella means?
Evan will have to get back to us on that one.
Branthwaite?
You want to watch him and then stop watching him.
Yeah. Ooh, would you guys drop Tarkowski for Branthwaite? That's a great question for Anthony.
The play is if you're adamant for whatever reason, you have a death wish of getting Everton defenders, as you sell Tarks for something and then just pick up Branthwaite with the spot.
There you go. That's probably it. I got him for free this week, and I'm thinking about dropping him before the game week for a different streamer. So yeah, I don't know.
For what it's worth, there's an analyst at the Draft Society called Draft Lad, who's written a really good and extensive piece on young players to watch during the season who might be taking a spot or become fantasy relevant, and a lot of the players there are making some noise, including Branthwaite. So yeah. I think this Evan fella
might be onto something.
Might be onto something. Yeah. He's a dedicated reader of ours.
I don't know if I'd tout Branthwaite at this point.
Not yet.
I mean, nine.
Totti did tout Kirkesh week 2 as his.
and got a clean sheet versus Chelsea.
Yeah,
with 7 points?
7 points. Yeah. He actually won Player of the Month at Bournemouth.
He was the only one that started more than one.
I was going to say, which tells you everything you need to know. While we're on Everton quickly, Believe writes in chat, thoughts on Dwight McNeil. He looked rough last week.
They all did. Yeah, I talked about this quite a bit. I mean, it was just, thankfully, ended up being a bad matchup for them because actually played well and dominated the ball. The field tilt was like 85-86%. They just didn't get the ball enough to score, and they didn't get any set pieces, which was great. The only thing I'd be worried about with McNeil is that Ashley Young still took a fair amount of set pieces that game.
The immortal, the eternal.
Yeah, I can't imagine being taken off a set piece by Ashley Young. I don't know if McNeil will ever get over that, but that's the only worry I'd have. Otherwise, he's a buy low unless he drops a stinker this weekend and then also again. But otherwise, I'm not too worried.
Yeah, no, fair.
Regarding your Jeff versus Fulham pick, so I like to do this thing where I look at matchup histories last 5 or 6 games, and Jeff actually popped up as one of the names. I think he got 2 goals in 4 appearances versus Fulham. So, I mean, if that's anything to go by, every now and then they kind of hit, and I feel like it's true. Like certain players just like playing against certain clubs. Like Jesus versus Everton, for example, is one. But yeah, I mean, if that kind of makes your decision a bit easier when grabbing him. So,
what a man that Jeff is. What a man. All right, boys. We have Twitter questions. There's some good ones too, as I alluded to previously. So let's dive into them. There's some that I think some of us will have, better maybe expertise or fandom that can influence our responses, but otherwise it's open. Just have at it if you have any sort of insight whatsoever on this particular question. So first we have from Fantrax EG at Fantrax EG. Is Luca Digne a Defender 1 rest of season? Surely it's his spot to lose, and he's churning out ghost points. On this one, I want to hear particularly from Sanji and Ryan, because I think you're going to be on opposing viewpoints on this particular question.
A day that ends in Y. I mean, I would like to say, yeah, he's approaching that sort of Defender 1 status. Like, he's going back to his Luca Digne of old, and people were always scrambling to try and roster him. He's got great attacking numbers. Again, Fantrax scores are great, but at the same time, the threat of Alex Moreno looms, and the fact that he played tonight as well in Europe, it's a little off-putting given that Cash came off the bench as well. So it wouldn't surprise me if Digne is benched this weekend. So listen, I own him. I'm still gonna keep the faith. Hopefully he gets the start. Because I agree. Like it doesn't make sense why a manager would all of a sudden bench a player that's in form, but they're playing on multiple fronts, so it's a tough one to kind of judge.
The answer is no. I mean, a Defender 1 doesn't get benched this weekend, so you conceded the point initially. No, I've said, I think ad nauseum. I think this is Moreno's spot. The only way that Digne would be a Defender 1 is if Moreno has a re-aggravation of the injury. This is Unai's guy. Digne's done fairly well in real life, but yeah, he's not the best defender. Moreno's a two-way player. They looked their best last season with Moreno as a left back. He's seemingly back fit, so I think it's his spot to lose. If I was a Digne roster, I'd be trying to get him out as soon as possible.
Totti, break the tie.
I think I'm with Ryan, but I'm less bullish about Moreno. So I think Digne has done enough early season for this to not be an out-and-out Moreno spot, especially with Europe in there. So I think we'll see much more of Digne than we had expected before the season started. So I wouldn't be super excited about rostering Moreno either. But this is again not a cuff that I wanna hold on. So I'm okay having Moreno and hoping that he gets a good run of games. But yeah, I'd try to get Digne out if I could.
If you were shrewd enough, you could have gotten Moreno for free, like of just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I did in both leagues.
Weeks ago, exactly. I got him in all of my leagues, and so yeah, you gotta love that.
Yeah, it's getting tough to sit on him though. I mean, as Totti mentioned, it really is because I got Kai in a league. I got Ollie McBurney sitting there, suspended. I'm just running out of spots.
The end is nigh.
Yeah.
You're going to be repaid soon.
All right, moving right along, boys. Thank you to Fantrax EG for that question. Billy Whitehorn at Billy Whitehorn 2. Draft FPL question. Do we feel like the Pep rotation fear is higher than ever before? Perhaps other than Rodri, Ederson, and Holland, maybe Alvarez too at the moment. I'd not bet my house on anyone being set to start. He has Doku and Grealish, and he feels like he may have that left side on lock. This is what I was kind of referring to when I mentioned Pep rotation questions. So, yeah, people are pretty frustrated. Not surprisingly, but it's less Pep rotation to me, honestly, than it is just certain players not performing. Like Grealish, where the hell have you been?
Yeah, but you can't rotate injured players. Like at this point, like he has to start people because that's the only people he has left. Yeah, I don't know. It's a interesting season for City, but I'm sure Pep will find a solution as always. I'd love to see Bob the Monster or Bob Oscar or whatever get some minutes. The kid with 2 B's in his name.
Oh,
but,
yeah. Oscar Bob.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how Pep kind of manages all his assets once everyone is fit. But yeah, I mean they're not even suffering at all. Like
No.
Ryan's boy Julian got a 10 out of 10 sofa score rating in their Champions League game with the brace. He's absolutely purring right now.
He's so good.
That usually means that he's gonna get benched soon.
Oh yeah, I mean Pep said he was undroppable, right? So he cue the bench for sure.
He needs 2 more starts to basically end the Grealish bet. Game week 8.
Yeah,
coming back from this.
He's so good.
Yeah, I think it's not worse than ever before. Like
I think it's better.
I
feel like he's rotating less. I mean, we talked about the injuries. I think his hand is forced a little bit. So I feel like as Sanji mentioned on the Alvarez roster, I feel pretty secure every week. Whether or not that'll continue when everybody's healthy, I don't know. But for now, I feel like he's rotated less and less.
Yeah, agreed.
I guess the other question then is like, are you getting the returns you were hoping for from City players this season? Holland and Alvarez aside. Doku's been a pleasant surprise. I didn't see him coming in that soon, but again, the injuries.
Yeah, exactly. It's we didn't have any reservations about his production. It was his expected minutes that we had reservations of. I think the main guy, like obviously you're disappointed with Grealish. You probably had to spend a round 1 or early round 2 pick on him, and he's injured. But that's a similar situation as KDB so far, and Grealish is probably coming back and playing better before KDB is. So discounting those, I think Foden is the biggest disappointment. Like everyone was so excited about him after the 20 minutes KDB played and then went off, that he's finally gonna grow up to become the KDB of the future. And he's just, I mean, full disclosure, I haven't seen many City games this season, but for Fantrax, I expected much more.
Yeah. 6.5 against West Ham, 10.5 against Fulham, 12 against Sheffield United. I mean, not terrible, but those are like Morgan Gibbs White numbers.
Yeah.
All right. We good on that one? Sweet. Moving right along. All right. Magnus, our old friend Magnus. And by the way, Totti, way earlier in chat, Magnus had this to say to you. Thank you for Soboslai.
Yep. Yep. You're welcome.
Yep. It's looking more and more like your ranking of him is going to end up
multicolored hearts in the Hungarian flag.
Yeah. Magnus is solid, and
Nice
Magnus,
touch.
when we have our Draftapalooza, we expect you to be there. Anyway, should we just blindly trust or almost any defenders playing against Luton?
I mean, we have these teams that we always try to target with defenders. I think blindly trust is a bit much, and I think they'll have some better games than the ones that they had so far. Just look at the West Ham defenders when they played Luton. I don't think any of them scored particularly well, just because of that one goal
Full circle.
conceded.
Zuma did.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is if you bring back that previous slide, good pick.
There it is.
Yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't trust them blindly, but definitely they're a team to target.
Solid choice.
Beautiful.
Solid choice. Yeah. No, absolutely. I mean, yes. I think the short answer is yes. Just yes. Depending, though, right? I mean, you don't want to. This is why I'm nervous about guys like Sanjay. Not to throw you under the bus, but I'm nervous about guys like Rorslev. Like, just because they're playing a team like Everton, they've done jack and shit so far this season. So I'm worried. Both of them. I'm worried about trying to stream a defender against a bad team. Just it seems like it's a clean sheet play, right?
Yeah.
But I feel the only sort of defenders that you're actually doing the clean sheet play for are Man City defenders. I feel like everyone else goes better than Man City defenders.
I would agree with you there. Cool. Okay. Moving right along. So in short, Magnus, yes and no. All right. Sanjay, I want to hear from you on this one. This is our old friend FP Elements. Is Jackson really under threat from Broja? Any opinions on the proposed scoring change trial league 5 weeks in? The defender quality this season seems pretty bad. So I think Totti can probably field that one. But as far as the Broja one and Jackson, what are you thinking on that one, Sanjay?
I expect Jackson to start the next game, get his 5th yellow, get banned for 1 game. Broja comes in, scores, and then takes his spot. Maybe.
No.
No.
Do you actually?
I have no idea what to expect. Is Broja coming back?
I like Broja.
I mean,
as a player.
Man, Poch is saying some weird ass shit in the interviews these days, yo. Like on his defenders to attack because it's confusing the attackers, and Colwell might play left back again, and yeah, it's just it's a weird situation, man.
He's started to go down the Chelsea manager insanity road.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird situation. I mean, again, it's not just like the attacking returns that we're playing Jackson for, or lack thereof, or whatever. But I mean, you watch the games, he brings other things to the team, like just the ability to drive the ball forward. That is a massive thing to our play style at the moment. So it'd be harsh for him to drop him. Maybe he plays him off the left of Broja. Maybe Broja comes on as a sub. So I like to see maybe there's a shift in dynamic or responsibility for Jackson. But it's concerning. It's very concerning, man.
Fair.
Agreed.
Yeah. What round would you take Jackson in if you were drafting today?
Any of us draft him?
I did, obviously.
I didn't. No.
I mean, obviously we drafted win leagues and all that sort of stuff, but I mean, I still enjoy owning assets from my team. Like,
Yeah,
I still want to have fun. Like,
that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, Ross always says it. Just have fun, right? Sure, the lack of points haven't been fun, but I drafted him. I think start of 4th round on one of my leagues. If I had to draft him now, though, I'd probably wait until the 6th, start of the 6th round, maybe, or 7th rounds, around there. If I can wait that long to get him, I still don't think you'd get him that late. I feel like somebody might grab him maybe mid 5th. That wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, maybe he drops down 1 round for me from where I drafted him.
I
Fair
agree.
enough. All
I
right.
think I'd look at him at 6-7, but I probably wouldn't be there. So yeah.
Fantastic. Totti, thoughts on the second question? Opinions on the proposed scoring changes 5 weeks in. That is heavily involved in making defenders more valuable, right?
Yeah, making defenders and defensive midfielders more valuable. I think it's too early to tell. There's been a lot of fluctuation around defender value in our normal scoring as well. Just look at Joachim Anderson and the likes. So I'd reserve judgment until the end of the calendar year at least.
Short and sweet. I like it. Yeah, let's wait. Okay. Frog Taga has a couple questions. Please help us, sad Grealish owners. What do we do here? We sort of covered that already. But more specifically, are you trading out on an absolute low? No way, right?
I'm buying low.
Okay.
I mean, there are frustrated owners. You can probably get him for cheap. Why not?
Not when they look at last year's numbers, though. You send them that stretch. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't sell him.
I don't think I would either.
Stubborn man.
Well, but what are you trading out to get him though? Or how much fab are you throwing at the owner? Totti. If I mean, let's assume somebody else owns Grealish in your league and you want him because we know how much you love him and stuff like that. What are you throwing at that manager?
You're gonna offer just fab?
I want to know what combination: fab, only fab, player plus fab, only players.
Just
maybe?
fab? 75?
Yeah, I'd easily do 75 for Grealish. Probably somewhere around McNeil type value. Maybe a bit higher. And Bomo. Players like that.
Interesting. All right. His second question, is Lamptey worth holding? We talked about that, I think. Go back and listen to Sanji streamers. Certainly until lineups are announced this week. Absolutely. Worst case scenario, you drop him. Best case scenario, then you have a starting fullback. Number 3, we don't talk keepers often here. Emi Martinez or Flecken rest of season. Anyone have any preference here?
I'm gonna go with the Ballon d'Or nominee / World Cup winning Emi Martinez. I know like Brentford are all about stats and they try to get the most similar profile to David Raya, but he showed signs of it in preseason, how he can make mistakes and stuff like that, and he did not look great. This is Newcastle either. I'm quite concerned about that. So yeah, I'm gonna go Emi, and I think every now and then Emi could probably save a pen randomly as well. He has that in his locker, so yeah, I'm gonna take the Emi side.
Are you rostering either of these rest of the season though?
I was just gonna say neither. Yeah.
Yeah. Like,
Well, I mean, if I'm assuming that these are their only options, sort of thing, right? I mean,
it says
if there's
rest of the season.
What?
Okay,
Like, who's gonna score more points rest of the season?
so yeah, if you had to
It's a
pick one or
toss-up.
the other,
Probably Martinez will score more
Yeah.
points rest of the season, but I still wouldn't roster him rest of the season.
Yeah, but I'm assuming this is their only options, and rest of the season you have to pick one. If I had to go goalkeeper, I'm probably just gonna stream like one of 3 or 4 options that are probably free in your league, like Fotheringham, Neto,
Yeah, Fotheringham's a good one.
Areola. Like these guys will get saves and will offset the amount of goals that they're gonna concede.
But Sanji, remember you mentioned earlier, Brentford's upcoming fixtures. They're insane. Everton, Forest, Manchester United, Burnley, Chelsea, West Ham. There's a lot of shots to be stopped there and probably not a lot of goals going in.
Yeah, but the thing is, I'm a Flecken. I was a Flecken owner in one of my leagues, and I dropped him after that Newcastle performance. I get like the point potential and all that, but it was the eye test for me that made me make a gut call in that sense, and I wavered in Areola instead. So I'm not looking back at this moment. So
I think now,
why would you?
Right now, the three goalkeepers you are considering holding rest of the season are, for me, Alisson, Nick Pope, and probably looking at David Raya.
Oh, for fuck's sake, Leno's staring you right in the face.
Yeah, you gotta add Leno. You gotta.
So I mean,
Leno is the third one. Sorry.
Thank you, Ryan. That's your boy.
Leno is the
Negative
third
10,
one, and then,
notwithstanding.
Yeah,
and then Raya as a potential fourth one coming in.
There we are. What about Jose Sa?
Hit or miss.
Okay.
I mean, now that we kind of mentioned David Ryan, what's your take on this whole like goalkeeper rotation situation? Like, because I've seen Raya get picked up in like both my leagues.
This guy in my main league like will not ever let me live it down. He was holding him the entire time, and like I've been telling him every week to just drop him. And then he was facing one of my rivals. I finally was like, dude, fucking drop him. And he did. And then that was the week that he started. And to be fair, like I told him there were rumors like several hours in advance. Didn't pick him back up. But yeah, now he texts me like every day. I didn't think it would happen so soon. I kind of thought that it was just one of those things where, you know, you wanted healthy competition. Raya would get a lot of the cup games, at least at first. And then if Ramsdale made a glaring error, then Raya's right there to come in. I didn't think it would be so soon, and I didn't think it would be so just kind of harsh, I guess. I mean, I think it's kind of harsh on Ramsdale, to be fair. I don't think he's put a huge foot wrong. Having said that, some of those passes from Raya in the Champions League game, my God, he can, he's surgical with that bitch, Jake. So yeah, I'm kind of surprised, but not completely shocked, I guess, is what I would say.
Yeah, and I think if he nails down the spot, that he's vying for a rest of season hold spot.
Yeah, but I don't think we allow that many shots. It's not the combo of Raya's an amazing shot stopper plus Brentford allow a ton of shots. It's just one of those two. Having said that, there's maybe a more decent chance of clean sheets, which offsets it a little bit. But yeah, I'd rather have Leno all day.
Same. All right. 2 left, guys. And then we'll let a couple of you overseas lads get to sleep. So, hold on. One second. There we are. All right. From Andrew Gentilucci at alucci21. Rank these forwards rest of season. I got to say, I love this question. This is a really interesting one to me and pretty tough. So rank these forwards rest of season. Solomon, Beto, Hudson-Odoi, Dango Unchained. Solomon, Beto, Callum Hudson-Odoi, Dango Ouattara.
I'll go Solomon, Cho, Dango, Beto.
Oh, I'll go Beto, Solomon, Dango, Hudson-Odoi.
I will go Hudson-Odoi. Solomon and Beto are so close for me. And then Dango last.
I think I agree on Dango last for me. That's
Just
the one.
because of the rotation concerns?
Oh, I rostered him last year too, and I mean, I just know how frustrating he can be. I mean, there are games where he's just anonymous, like completely anonymous. Yeah, and I think we've seen enough from Beto at this point. 65 minutes against Arsenal, but that Sheffield United appearance, very solid. And yeah, I think there's more to come from him. So I don't know. God. I think I got Dango at the bottom. I still don't know what to make of Solomon, honestly, guys. I really don't. I'm still very fearful that it's a play the hot hand and then he's going to get sat back down on the bench. So I think for that reason I would go Solomon at, third, maybe CHO and Beto on top for me.
Yeah. I think the only one who has the best chance of getting regular minutes out of these is Beto, because we have only seen Hudson-Odoi for one game.
Mm-hmm.
It's Forest. I can't trust Forest attackers. Like we've seen Emmanuel Dennis come in and score a goal, play well the second game or decently in the second game, and then fall into an abyss and is probably still falling. I'm not saying that Hudson-Odoi is gonna do that, but I just still can't trust him. If we are talking the same four guys like end of October and he's started most of the games from now till then he jumps up to first or second spot. But otherwise, it's a lot of cooks and not enough stoves
or pots.
How many stoves do you have in your house? Would you say?
I have one stove.
Okay, so
but I only have one cook as well.
Oh, okay, that's a good proportion.
Is exactly, so you can have like a lot of pots.
Be careful.
You can have a lot of pots, but a pot a cook does not make.
This is awesome. This metaphor is killing right now. This is fantastic.
Keep it going, yeah.
All right, you go ahead, Sanji. What?
I was gonna add to this is the same stove that you make the poop soup on.
Yes,
exactly.
Gotta be. Yeah. If there's only one, you would imagine.
I see Evan's comments about it's Forest and it's Burnley, and I get that. But I just feel like the connection that it's the same thing, the same logic I'm using as when Morgan Gibbs-White signed for Forest last season. He's played for Steve Cooper before. Cho has played for Steve Cooper under 17 World Cup. They won it together, and I just feel like Cho might have something to prove. We know he has like that upside and all that, and I agree. Yes, sure, it's Forest and whatnot, but yeah, that's why I'm kind of high on it. Yes, Evan, I know I'm a Chelsea fan. I still love you, Evan. How much you ever want to bash me or whatever. And no, he also made a great point about Beto's minutes being cut into by DCL. That's why I dropped Beto so low onto my list. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
I doubt DCL features enough as a lone striker to eat into Beto's minutes. I know that we have some quotes from Deitch about potentially pouring some cold water on the two up top sort of buzz, but I think it's a very, very, very short, very limited time we've seen Beto, but based on that, He's exactly what Dyche needs or wants, and he's a very good player.
We also heard that bit in reference to Wout Weghorst at Burnley. At some point, you got to price in the fact
Exactly.
that number 9s, even if he gets the right profile, just suck. But
Yeah,
like I said, I like Beto. But watching CHO over the weekend, or on Monday rather, it's just he passed the eye test. He just looked hungry. Ghosted as well, so he's different than Dennis, who used to get 11 to 14 with the goal. He got over 20 with the goal. Yes, it was Burnley. Great matchup. Got his confidence up. I don't think there's any real competition for him, obviously, since he slotted right in as soon as he joined. So I think he's going to be a nailed-on start if he stays healthy. And I just like the fact that he can ghost and he's got a point to prove. It's still for us, but yeah, I think that all that puts him above all the rest of these guys.
I feel you.
Also, with the injury to Perisic,
After City,
does
you'll
that-
have a decent chance of maybe getting him in.
With the Perisic injury as well, the ACL injury, does that not give you more hope for Solomon's value though?
Was Perisic ever going to feature as a starter?
Really, he's on the left as well.
Yeah, Solomon plays on the left, right? Both.
Yeah.
Solomon
He
plays on the
does.
left. So.
I think Richarlison is more of an issue, and I
Exactly.
as mentioned
since
last
the
week.
Son was slotted on the left.
Yeah, and as I mentioned last week, I think Richarlison will be the arm around the shoulder Ange project in this Spurs team. So we've seen him get taken off some for Brazil, comments about his head not being right, whatever, and then he came on, played well 2 days later. So yeah, I think we'll see more of Richarlison than what we are currently expecting after 2 games missed.
If there wasn't Brennan Johnson also in the mix, I'd feel a lot better about Solomon. Just adding another proverbial cook in the kitchen on the stoves.
Where would you put Brennan Johnson on this list? Because I'm about to drop him.
Yeah,
Bottom.
very bottom. Yeah. Why do you have him?
Exactly. I think I'm going to drop him.
I don't know if I drop Brennan, man. I know he's probably not gonna get as many starts or whatever, but it's like you're playing with a great attacking team. Eye test wise, when he came on, yeah, his goal was chalked off, but the first touch and the finish was, I don't know. I feel I'd be a bit hesitant to drop him. I understand why you're frustrated and you want to drop him, but
but how many matches does he need to start in the next 10 games to be worth holding?
Right.
And is he gonna start that many? That's my issue. Like, I think he needs to feasibly start around half of the matches to be worth holding, and I have no hope for him starting half of the next 10.
And they have Arsenal, Liverpool.
Also historically pretty goal dependent.
Yeah.
So are we just assuming because Richarlison came on, got a goal and assist, that all his mental issues are fixed?
No. I think he will be still coming back. I think Solomon will still feature somewhat, but I think Richarlison will be the sort of project that Ange takes on to get him back to his former self, and he'll give him a lot of leeway, a lot of starts, a lot of 90 minutes and stuff like that. And also, I think Brennan Johnson is very similar to the situation that we talked about with Trossard, like on a highly attacking team in a position that yields attacking returns potentially, but very limited view to starting minutes. I'd drop Trossard and Brennan Johnson, both, to be fair. Not now, obviously, with Trossard, but when everyone's healthy.
Bold.
Yeah.
When other people are selling high, I'm dropping.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, last one, boys. This is less of a player evaluation question and much more of a league setup / personal preference question. United Goons walking alone at United Goons. Loaded question that may push your podcast to an unprecedented length. What are your thoughts on auto subs? Our league uses them, and most of the managers love the extra layer of strategy that comes with starting a player like KDB while your bench is loaded with extra mids.
I'm super old school when it comes to these types of questions, so I'm very much against it.
Agreed. This isn't going to be a long conversation. I think the way that it's currently set up, I think the way that it works for FPL is
better.
Decent.
Right,
It's good. But
how is it different?
So now Fantrax has two settings: either normal auto subs, which subs in your highest scorer, while leaving you with a usable formation, and the second setting, which is a better setting, is ranked auto subs, which means that you rank your bench, and then the players come in based on the rank. There are two issues with all of these. The one is that for me, if you're using auto subs, it is an absolute must to have lineup locks. Because if you don't have lineup locks and still using auto subs, which some teams or some leagues do, it offers you a chance to see your ranked or unranked sub player who has scored well. It offers you a chance to plug in an injured player where you wouldn't have plugged in an injured player, so that your high-scoring player comes off the bench.
Oh, wow.
So that's an absolute no-no. I think playing KDB injured just so you get your best scoring bench guy off the bench is not strategy. It's just
yeah, what are we doing at that point?
It's just going one step towards best ball. I think the issue with ranked, so lineup locks and ranked auto subs should ideally work. The issue with them is that you have to re-rank every player every game week. So it's just a mechanics thing that we have mentioned to Fantrax a few times. They haven't corrected it. So in FPL, the ranks stick to your players. So if you do not touch your team for half a year, then your ranked auto subs will still remain the same as you rank them on game week 1. Whereas if you forget to rank them, or you have no time to rank them, which is kind of the basis of using auto subs, so it happens more in teams that or in leagues that use auto subs, you forget to rank them, then they just won't come in. So it defeats the purpose of auto subs.
Because they're not auto.
They're not auto. They're not working automatically.
By definition, not auto.
Exactly. So we have been trialing a system in the Busy Dads League and in the Draft Society Auction League that is essentially not a lineup lock, but a pool lock system, which helps with pickups. So essentially what happens is before 90 minutes before the first game of the game week, all the players in the pool go to waivers, meaning you have your 11 and your subs bench to navigate the whole game week. There's no Tsimikas pickup. There is no whatever, which I think is a very good thing. Like I I love being able to pick up these high upside streamers when lineups come out, but so my issue is, and I've come around on this a lot, is that we proud ourselves on playing a game that is much more based on knowledge, research, and less on luck than FPL. And here we have a gaping hole that leaves a lot up to luck and speed and availability during the weekend, which, like, I mean, if I'm playing with my home league and someone's feeding the baby, then tough luck. But if you're playing with managers who are joining your league from the west coast of the US or Australia or Japan or the other side of the Asian continent, then it's not something that you can just say tough luck. You should move to a place which has better coverage or closer to the EPL's time zone. So essentially you are giving players from, I don't know, from maybe the Great Lakes to don't know, West India, and an extra
See where you're going with this.
Yeah.
an extra asset or an extra help, because they're awake and potentially able to do pickups much better than anyone outside of that region. So I think, and we have enjoyed this. Like, there's still strategy involved with picking up players who are likely to start, or picking up players like at Tsimikas, who you think will start, but you can still sub him out. You can still take him out of your lineup. Lineups don't lock. It's just that you can't pick up any of the new guys. So I would advise United Goons walking alone to transition his league towards this. Rant over.
Is he making a play on the basically the 4 of the big 6? Manchester United, Arsenal, or I guess 3.
Yeah, I think I think so.
It's a good one.
Yeah, his I can't remember exactly what his profile, but his profile, the actual, blurb or whatever is pretty funny. So check it out at United Goons. Anyway, as I said in chat, thank you to chat. If you're listening on the podcast version of this, join us next week. Usually either Wednesday or Thursday. Usually most of the time Wednesdays, 5:30 p.m. Eastern, usually, or 5 sometimes, depending on our availability. But it's almost always one of those few times that I mentioned. Chat, you guys are amazing. This is so much fun. We love the live stream. I'm so glad we transitioned to this. But yeah, if you're not able to make it, usually available on the podcast the next day. Any final thoughts, gentlemen?
I've had a lot of final thoughts, so I'll let the others talk.
I want to shout out the Twitter Spaces that we've been doing on weekends during the busy kickoffs. There's a chance we might do both Saturday and Sunday because of how the games are clustered this weekend. I think there's 3 on Saturday, 4 on Sunday. So there's a chance that I might run those again. So please, if you're watching the stream right now, pass through. It's a vibe. We don't just chat football, we chat real life as well. It's fun to get to know people. Like some guy called in from, I think, Hong Kong or something like that last time around. It's just random while Robbie was on the beach, tuned in as well. That was fun with his kid crying in the background. But yeah, but it is a vibe, and we're really enjoying the engagement that we get from those as well. So thanks for all the support, love, and yeah, we'll see you on the weekend, I think.
Cool, man. Yeah, killing it with that. Anything from you, Ryan?
No, sorry. There was just like 6 choppers in there, so I didn't hear any of that. So yes, I second all of it.
Is there an emergency in the nation's capital?
Some heads of state, I'm sure.
Always, my friend. Yeah, no, there's just always a lot of important people shuttling back and forth between the White House and Capitol building, and also a lot of crime. So you get some police choppers in there as well. Who's to tell?
The issue is that they don't intersect.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah. Until
define crime.
Sometimes they intersect.
Until we have like a real life action movie on our hands. White House down. I mean,
January 6th was pretty well.
It's kind of a real life action movie. Oh man. Anyway, with that, let's go ahead and close it down. Oh man, you guys know how to keep me on my toes. Thank you so much, listeners. You guys are fantastic. Do join Sanji this weekend on the Twitter Spaces, and if it's not him, it's somebody else. So join us. We're going to be answering some questions, chatting shit, talking about life, whatever it is. And until next time, join the KPC, and of course, listen to Banta Boys. Always, you should be doing both. You've got enough time in your week. We know you do. You have a commute. You have to mow the lawn. You have to tune out your children when they're crying in their cribs. Whatever it is, you need to be listening. So please tune in. Anyway, if you made it this far, we love you. You all are fantastic. We'll talk to everyone soon. Good luck this weekend. Hope you dominate your leagues. Cheers.